the fourth Friday of, no, today is the second Friday meeting, the July 14, 2023 of the OHDSI Phenotype Development Evaluation Workgroup. As you all know, we meet 2 times a month, the second Friday and the fourth Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. This is our work group OKR. We've been slowly working, making progress on these OKRs. This is how we have reflected on our progress. With the check marks are the things that we have achieved. The X marks are the ones that we are lagging behind, and the circle ones are something that we are focusing on right now. So we are focusing on the submission process to and perform at least 2 communication sessions on the OHDSI Phenotype Library, and that's one of the OKRs that we selected upfront this year. The other things that are priority areas are the yellow color ones, which is the terminology and scientific definitions and publications and so on. So that's our OKR. So the proposed agenda that we briefly discussed and set together is on continuing the conversation on how often is a planned initiative that we as a community are planning to focus our energy on, especially during the OHDSI Symposium 2023, the global symposium. So one of the ideas, the cornerstones of how often is the cohort definitions should be in the OHDSI Phenotype Library for it to be part of how often. That means we need to gather up and rally up the troops to contribute their cohort definitions to the OHDSI Phenotype Library well in advance so that it can be used in the how often initiative. We discussed that in the OHDSI community call June 20th, and then on June 24th, which is our last meeting, we talked about it. And I have a slide from the last meeting of our decisions that we made. We wanted to think about how to get the work groups to contribute, and we discussed that it is difficult, it's ambiguous, and so on. And we needed to make it a more systematic way, an easy way to do that. We talked about trying to understand what the current content of the library is. So those are some of the topics that I think we need to still iron out a little bit. Specifically, these are the decisions from last time. I reach out to the clinical work groups, and I didn't get any volunteers or support to do that. So it's either as of right now, it's either just me reaching out to every work group and trying to see what they're doing. It's probably going to take a lot of time. I don't even have a roster of emails of the work group leads or any strategy.
Go to Claire. She has the roster because she has to go to the work group leads for asking what changes to the CDN to make or not to make, whatever.
Yeah, that Gowtham also, I help run the leadership summits for OHDSI, and we're going to be having the leadership summit coming up in August. And if you wanted a few minutes to talk and show a new process, that'd be a good chance to show the working group leads.
Yeah,
excellent. Also, and Elise Gowtham has the emails of all the leaders.
You're saying what you're saying, Elsa?
I said Elise and Craig has the email for all the work groups leaders.
Yep, clear. Yep. It's just going through and pulling out the leader and figuring out the email address, that type of thing. She just did it, so you may get some shortcuts. So she maybe she doesn't have all, but she.
Anything to start with. So what do you think we should say? What is the words that you think we should say? There's any specific ideas as to the same thing that I talked about, like how often is coming up? We would like your core definition to be part of how often, and give it to us. We'll keep, we can.
Yeah, you may want to repeat in one sentence how often is trying to achieve, because they may or may not be aware.
Okay.
So Gowtham, we have from on the OHDSI on the forum, we have not the forum on the Teams channel, we have the slides from the OHDSI call when Patrick talked about this. So we have those. We also have the results of the poll he did of like what outcomes you guys want to look at, and that's where like you can also connect with the work leads, because there are they technically are the people who gave those things that they would have interest. Like for example, there's a lot of oncology stuff,
yeah,
surgery stuff. So we can like start from there.
Yeah, I remember oncology and surgery being the priority areas. Okay, awesome. Anything else? I think I can act on it. An email is fine, and then see how the traction is. But if there's any other volunteers who would like to collaborate and get this done, much appreciated. Okay, the next topic that
We can
Oh, go ahead.
also, Gautam, I think Kristen like said that last time. We can send an email, but I think we can ask to like attend the next meeting and have like 5 minutes of the agenda to solicit that. So like we can definitely go to the oncology and definitely can go with Evan's help to the surgery ones for if those are the ones that we think are the people who can actually phenotype. But I think since we don't even need to them, we don't need to ask. We can just hop on their call. We have the program of when the meetings occur, so we can just attend.
Yeah, it's definitely something we can do once or twice. Okay. It's Asia the oncology lead, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Great.
There's also I know another group is actually active, and they is a psychology group.
Oh yeah.
And Zima.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they have the ophthalmology group, but it's probably for outcomes, not that. Oh, who knows? Who knows? And
Okay.
yeah.
And Paul, can you tell us about the leadership summit? Like how should we bring this up? When is it?
It is August, I believe. It is. Let me just think. It's a Friday in August. Right now, we have it scheduled for. I think it's one of the last Fridays. I think it's the 18th. I'm not sure. I have to confirm that, Belize. But basically, we have about an hour and a half for all the work group leads to start communicating with each other. So if you wanted no more than 5 minutes just to talk about a new process that we're trying to weave the working groups together, and that just giving them a quick resource on making sure that they know how to create phenotypes, which is a great objective OKR for a clinical working group is to create phenotypes, is that here's the process for submitting them.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So if you could, just to give me a date when you have it, we'll be there. Last Friday of August, I should be there. I'm going to be taking some time off starting end of July to August. So just want to make sure.
Yeah, you'll just take it from overseas.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let me break this one to another slide and we can continue. Nope, it's not that.
Gautam, do you also want to give on today's agenda time? I know we're talking a lot about the submission, but can I get any updates on the publications for the other phenotypes or the progress for the phenotype February?
So let's go to that one and let's just communicate that. And I think we can go back to the submission process. So I'll give you the update that I know of. If anybody else has additions that they would like to add, this is the chance. So I will take this content here and just create a new slide here. Publication trackers. All right. So I wrote an abstract about the community experience on OHDSI Phenotype February. I think we got accepted. I couldn't tell if it was an oral presentation or not. I've not focused.
No, it is. It is the email actually. Yeah. So you got an oral presentation, AMIA, 15 minutes, and then whatever they called it, oral talks.
Okay. Yeah, so I have to figure it out. So if anybody wants to collaborate on an AMIA oral presentation, looking forward to partnership. The abstract that was sent out to AMIA is here. It is a Phenotype February 2023, and Where is that paper? Yeah, AMIA 2023. And there is the abstract. Now, I think because it's an oral presentation, I think we can convert this into a paper. So if you want to be an author or if you want to be a significant contributor, we'll start investing time on converting this into a paper. So already the abstract is already well structured, I think. So you basically have to extend it a little bit more. Maybe a brief communication paper is the route to go. And a community-wide experience on applying the standardized open source tools to collaboratively develop, evaluate, and curate phenotype algorithms. And we have a conceptual diagram there, and then we can list out the experiences of individuals like Dr. Macaulay, your experiences and so on would be valuable. And then we can link your individual work that you're working on, your rheumatology phenotypes to this, and that will give us like a more comprehensive narrative that could be attractive. So that's
Gowtham,
one.
just for people so everybody that participated that led the Phenotype February was a co-author of this paper, and the basically it wasn't the overarching paper of all the work. It's really about how OHDSI tools help in the whole phenotype development and evaluation. So it's more about how the tools kind of complement each other to develop and evaluate phenotypes. So it talks more about the Cohort Diagnostics, the evaluator, patient reviews, understanding clinical description, and so forth. And it does talk about applying this throughout Phenotype February. So it doesn't talk anything clinical about the Phenotype February phenotypes, rather really how OHDSI develop those tools and how they can work together within one conceptual framework of how to develop and evaluate phenotypes. So it's a nice kind of overarching piece of work.
Yeah, any thoughts or feedback on this one? Okay. I see a message. Excellent, thank you. Yes, would love to. And now that I think you may have had come back to your normal routine, maybe you have some time to work with us.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. And maybe could you give us an update on because the next topic is the progress of Phenotype February, and you are here. Now I also see Andrea and Knoll, which is awesome. So Christopher, can you start giving us an update if you can?
Sure. So briefly, we're developing the myositis phenotypes in our division at Hopkins in the rheumatology area. We're doing a lot of work specifically in our Atlas instance at Hopkins. We're getting to the finish line, hopefully. Paul's been a wonderful help trying to access all of the open source tools in our Johns Hopkins research environment. There's still some kinks to work out with Cohort Diagnostics, p-Evaluator, et cetera. But I really do feel like we are a couple of weeks away from doing that. And once we're there, we'll really be able to gain momentum and distribute what we've learned to the working group.
So in our last update, that my notes from the last update, you got Cohort Diagnostics to run, but there was an issue technologically to publish and review the results. Were you able to overcome that, or is that an issue that you're still experiencing?
The short answer is it's still an issue.
Still an issue, yeah. And I know the maintainer of Cohort Diagnostic, Jamie Gilbert, attempted to help, but I don't know how progress or if you want to have a conversation afterwards to how to help you in any way, let me know. Please reach out.
Sure.
And in terms of your goal for the manuscript, do you think you can think in terms of a month now? I mean, last time we talked about May, and obviously it's not May anymore.
We did not make May. It really comes down to when we finally break down the last barrier to accessing these tools. It's hard for me to give a deadline until I know that can be happening. But
yeah, we are trying several different lines. A lot of it was tied to Java is really locked down in our environment, but we have been able to get an approval and authorization to use OpenJDK as a driver within our environment that we're testing out with Cohort Diagnostics.
Awesome. Yeah, and all of this is reasonable. And thank you for providing the update. This is great, and you've made tremendous progress. And anything we can do to help you will be here. Awesome. Thank you for that.
I have a question. Calvin. Chris, did you update? Did you make any changes to the actual cohort definition since what's updated in the forum after towards the end of Phenotype February? Did you guys make changes to the definition itself?
We have, but we're not sure if those are going to be the final ones that we carry forward.
Yeah, we'll keep tracking on those calls, but when you are done, we would like to implement that. Like we would like to update that both basically on the Phenotype in the library, so we can push our Cohort Diagnostic results as well. So you can add that to your body of results.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Yeah, Gowtham, I have one more update for you. Is that as you know, we taught a class on Odyssey in January through March of this year. We have been given approval. We're going to be creating a new class. We decided to create a class between October and December. So to prepare better, we're actually going to be doing a practicum class where we are having 12 physicians, and we're going to be focusing on their networking protocol. The class is going to be led by ASIA here. We are going to be focusing on them having a good protocol for gearing them up for Phenotype February and for the SOS Challenge. And so it would be fun. What I'm hoping to do with ASIA is to take this mentoring class and then tailor it for the early stage researcher group. So any process we build on how to start enrolling and cataloging your phenotypes, it'd be great to try out with this group. We hope we have about 12 physicians who are interested in going through this. And so I just felt like I needed more programming. I wanted more preparation before Phenotype February to start getting them up to speed and having teams built so that they're in a better preparation. So I'm hoping one is we're going to pilot it here at Hopkins in October to November, or October through December. It's going to be an 8-week program, 60 hours. We're going to be pairing physicians with informatics students. We'll be focusing on their analytics use case and on their phenotypes. And so it'd be fun to have you come for one of the sessions. And then also as we have a formal method for helping them to catalog their phenotype, this is a great place to pilot it. And our goal is going to be to take this and then to build it Odyssey wide through the early stage researcher group. And so I'm hoping that by next year we run this in the fall for early stage research group, and then get 20 clinical teams that are interested in developing out there, doing a network study, and then just lay out this is the process, and part of this process you have to catalog your phenotypes, of course.
Love it. That's fantastic. Yes, I'm happy to help and assist in any way. You or Asia, whoever, let us know what we can do. And this is great.
Yeah, and Chris is going to help us with this class. Cindy Kai, of course, who went through the SOS Challenge, is going to help us. We have Aki. So it'll be fun to bring our groups together and try to build, a little bit more. What we see is the SOS is a lot, and we want to build more staging and mentoring around that process.
Awesome. Okay, so I hopefully captured it.
Yep, that's great. Thank you.
All right. So great. So continuing on Phenotype February. Anything else, Dr. McCauley? Otherwise, I can move to the next. Andrea, I know you're on the call. Can I put you on the spotlight for an update, if you can?
Sure, thanks. I have been out of office for a little while here, and so just getting caught back up with the work that we were doing earlier this year. So as I catch back up with that, I think that my update might be more meaningful.
Okay, no problem. Do you want to have a one-on-one or a group conversation outside? Are you ready for that, or do you want some more time to think through?
Yeah, it might be worth setting up something to get back on track.
Oh, yep. Jamie, I know you're on the call. Do you have any updates on the acute pancreatitis work? I thought I saw him on the call. Okay, maybe he dropped off. Anybody else who are on the Phenotype February who would like to give an update? I don't see anybody. All right. Okay. Great. So the next topic is the current content of the OHDSI Phenotype Library. I made some, so I reviewed the content. This is just something that I did in preparation for our next collaboration, which is formalizing the submission process. I went back and looked at the content of the OHDSI Phenotype Library, especially with a special focus on the metadata. The reason why I got interested in the metadata of the OHDSI Phenotype Library was because of the paper that I worked on. That is, again, that's something that we need to talk about. A paper on the OHDSI Phenotype Library. Oh wait, sorry. Before I go to the topic, we need to finish the publication. We started the publications and we didn't finish it. Let's finish that. Okay. So the other thing, so we've talked about Phenotype February. Then the designated medical events. I was hoping that Azza would give an update. I know she's made some progress with a conference presentation. Azza, are you on the call? Okay, no, I'll give an update. So Azza submitted an abstract on her work on designated medical events. Designated medical events are clinical events that the European Medical Agency has listed as significant events. So these are things like acute pancreatitis, liver failure, and so on. So Azza did a major effort of phenotyping all the designated medical events in collaboration with her collaborators in Johnson & Johnson. And I submitted that to a conference called ICPE in Pharmaco, which I don't remember the full form of ICPE, but it's like a significant conference. And she got invited for an oral presentation on designated medical events. So she's going to be going to Nova Scotia in Canada, I think in September or end of August, to do the presentation. So I think that's a commendable progress. The next one is the Cohort Diagnostic paper. A paper was written on Cohort Diagnostics. I'm the lead on that one. It is currently submitted to medRxiv. It is it is doing its rounds on getting peer reviewed, and you can probably find it by doing a search. And there. So I'm going to put the link to that here. I am finding it, it has gone to some key journals and has not been considered for even a review. So I'm a little confused as to what's going on. So if anybody has some insights or any guidance on how to get this paper to a good journal, I would appreciate a conversation. That's Cohort Diagnostic paper. There was a discussion in the past about a paper on phenotype development with an evaluation in mind. We discussed the conceptual framework for this, but we have not made any progress here. The other thing that we had captured as something this work group will track is the paper on the SOS challenge. Evan had proposed to lead that, and I think he made some progress on it. He also wanted to write characterization findings on the various phenotypes, such as the aortic aneurysm. Is Evan on the call? I don't see him, so I don't have any update on it. I don't think we've made any progress on terminology and scientific definitions. And there is a paper on the OHDSI Phenotype Library that I think I referenced here on the forums. So I think this paper here, the paper on the OHDSI Phenotype Library, is a good opportunity for us to collaborate. Here is that paper somewhere. Now, as I was writing the OHDSI Phenotype Library paper, one of the things that I learned about was the FAIR principles and the importance of metadata, especially structured structured metadata for FAIR principles. Greg Klebanov provided some input on the FAIR principles, a lot of conversations. We about 2 work group meetings ago, we had a lot of conversations on it. So I went back and I looked at the content of the OHDSI Phenotype Library, special focus on the metadata. And I made some progress on standardizing the metadata in the OHDSI Phenotype Library. And I think right now it has a good structure to it. The reason why this becomes important is because then once we standardize the framework for what metadata is captured, then we can create a forum for accepting submissions. We talked about a forum for accepting submissions to the OHDSI Phenotype Library in our last conversation. One strategy that we talked about was to leverage dash.odyssey.org as a submission site. And Paul, you said you would be able to look into it if it's possible. That's one thing we can talk about.
Yeah. So what I can say is we have developed. So Dash is a platform. We can develop a submission site on Dash. We are currently developing 2 pathways right now. One is going to be the data partner pathway. We're going to call them journeys because it's more Odyssey-esque. And so one is a data partner Odyssey, and that's going to be their journey through ETLing into OMOP and then becoming a data partner on the Odyssey network. And the second one is the journey of leading a network study, and it's going to go through the SOS challenge, through the steps similar to the SOS challenge, but also it'll include phenotyping. And so one is we're building out the dashboard to incorporate a lot of these types of workflows, but it would not be difficult to add a workflow or a tributary of the network study pathway for enabling phenotype submission.
I see.
And it can be independent of a network study, but what I would like is a mock-up of what the forms would look like, how you want the user to be interacted with. So we are actively developing. Right now, I'm in full-scale development of the data partner pathway that we hope to share on August 20th. And so we could be happy to be shared to you then, and you can look at that. But I think that, what I'm looking for now is just the requirements you're looking for what the process is, who gets notified, if there's any sort of approval or workflow. We are going to be having users logging in with any Microsoft account, so any, like whether it's odyssey.org or any organization that supports an Active Directory type of integration, or any website that does that. So we'd be happy to share this with you in about a month. Yeah, so I want to know what data do you want to have captured? You're going to want to, potentially whether you need to authenticate users. And then, of course, you're also going to want to say, what does it need to be? What does the workflow look like? Is it going to be reviewed by somebody? Is it going to have to, what are the different roles or personas? There's going to be the submitter. There's going to be a potential, reviewer, educator. And so basically I need to have the roles and the tasks that the roles of the individuals will perform.
Yeah, so I'm just typing up as you speak. This is something that I was thinking about as initial. The use is so I like authentication for sure. That definitely prevents unauthorized or malintent use.
It's authentication. Also, it's also going to be tracking contact information. So it's going to be not just authentication, but how do we get hold of you? What's your email address going to be, so that we can so that you can now be part of a workflow, because we're going to have to notify people. So if you have reviewers, there needs to be a work list or a notification that there are new phenotypes to be evaluated, and then you might then send it back to the submitter. And so what does that workflow look like? So I kind of want to see a graph of the what you view as the adjudication process for how a phenotype gets into the phenotype library, or how we tag it along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Okay, so I'll very quickly. This is what I think about. These are the things that I think are like basic information. So you need, if you submit a cohort, you need to think about a name for it. That's one minimum requirement. You may want to describe a logic. This is the earliest occurrence of hypertension, or for persons with hypertension who were treated with blood pressure medicines, or something like that. Something that is meaningful. That's like a text description of it. I have an idea of hashtags. The hashtags is you can use it to provide catalog content in different ways. The contributors email, contributors ORC IDs, contributor organizations. I think we can capture. So again, basic information. We can also capture peer reviewers and peer reviewers emails and peer reviewers IDs if needed. So these are, I think, basic information. I think this is not controversial. What I think there needs to be a little discussed, and Christian, I'm looking to you for support here because you've thought through this use case. You've expressed this several times. Like, what is the use case? Is it for a target? Is it for an outcome? Is it for so you want some metadata, what to capture from the submitter? What should the submitter say about the use case?
Yep. Oh, you want that right now?
I mean, you can, or later, however, but that's something that is needed.
Yeah, so yes, yes. No, I can send it. I can open it up, or I send it to you later.
Okay,
but it's the usual use cases that you use cohorts for, right? Yeah, let me pull this up.
Okay. Any other elements at the cohort definition level that you all think needs to be captured?
Well, I mean, I think this is a good important part where you can add performance metrics tied to different data sets. I think that's going to be really, an important one of fit for use. But it's going to have to be linked to data sets.
Yeah, use case and fit for use seems like semantics to me. Maybe.
Well, one is human. One's going to be human language. One's going to be JSON code. I think in some ways, when I think of, so you can get rid of fit for use if you want. I'm certainly looking at something that I definitely would like to have some sort of computational, representation.
Yeah. So I'm going to bucket this into this metadata at the cohort level into two buckets. One is solved. Solved is like there's nothing much to think about. We know what it is.
Well, I do want to flag that. Do we? Here's the question I have for you. So when people submit phenotypes, should we automatically post them on the phenotype library and then just state their status? In which case, then peer review is just adding curation on it. It's not it's not like a go no go. And so one thing is that what we're doing is we're not really we're reviewing it and trying to show that we have validated it, but not really saying you can't get on the phenotype library unless it's been reviewed.
Yeah. So I think so I agree. So we definitely need to clarify that. So right now, the principle behind the OHDSI Phenotype Library is we will accept contributions from any real contributor with a good intent. We won't actually have a threshold of quality. We just want them to submit. As long as it's a human being submitting, as long as they are willing to say that they are willing to stand behind it, I think it's good enough for the library. We may apply some technical rules, like it has to, it should not be a duplicate of another one. It should be at least little different from a previous submission. It should have good hygiene, like don't put names that don't make sense, like, have some semantic discipline to it. Other than that, I think that's it. That anything that meets that criteria should be accepted into the library as unreviewed work. It's like think about it like medRxiv. Once it's gone to that stage, then we can assign peer reviewers. And if it completes the peer review process and that peer reviewer says accept, then we can accept it. So that's the current thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just has to be really laid down as part. I think part of the submission process has got to be what we call decision support, where we're trying to educate them too about what makes a good phenotype. Where it could be just giving them recommendations or trying to give them some feedback on their phenotype. But I agree. In general, it's going to be just a guide and just trying to provide benefits like Phoebe and recommendation systems. And so I see this as a way, this is like the best time to be able to provide them effective guidance on building more generalizable phenotypes.
Yeah. All right. So I can work on that based on that feedback. And Paul, I'll reach out to you. Maybe we can set up a half-an-hour call and just line it up.
I just dumped the table. So possible. Oh, that's funny. How do you do that? An infinite mirror set of mirrors. Oh,
Christian just broke Teams.
this will break Teams or Microsoft or something. I think we're going to see a.
So this is a lot of content here.
Yeah, it's a little wider, this table, than you have to widen it.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of metadata about the phenotype.
To capture it. Like this is this is I can't print this out.
No, you only need the first column. Okay.
Let's see. I still can't get it out.
Actually, the first and second, let's put it this way. The first and second, that's what you need. And you can turn it in a list. The list is going to be like a dozen long or whatever. How do you do this thing? It will kill your teams. You know that, right? It's going to do an endless repetition.
So what you sent on this is something like this. So you're saying capture dimensions of a cohort. So you're saying just capture the first one.
The first two.
First two. Okay. Remove these.
Yes, remove these. These are yes, exactly.
And
we probably have to find a better word than flavor, because that seems to have creates some emotional response.
Well, flavor is it's by definition subjective, because it represents the nose and the tongue senses. We just need to, what is flavorful to you may not be flavorful to another person. So we have to make it objective. Like the words just have to be more specific.
Yeah, just instead of flavor, look, right now it's incidence or prevalent.
Yeah, I think I understand the idea. Like undercoded, overcoded, I don't know what it means.
It means, do you assume that your condition concept is undercoded and overcoded? If it's neither undercoded nor overcoded, you don't need anything more than a condition concept. Okay? But we know they either overcode, like myocardial infarction, which is why you want two of them within a month or something, or within a week or whatever, or within a day or whatever. And or they undercode, and then you do all sorts of other gymnastics to pick it up.
And
Like
are you trying to get around trying to say sensitivity and specificity?
Correct,
Yeah.
but this is before. Sensitivity and specificity is a measurement after you did it.
Okay.
This is your expectation. So the idea is that a condition cohort definition is a concept set of the condition you are looking at. Okay, that's it. Unless you need to do something, and you need to do something because it doesn't actually give you what you need, the sensitivity and specificity you need. So people usually have, when they start doing this, an assumption of what they think they have to tackle with. Okay. And so, I don't know, Alan had this whole thing that it's overcoded because people don't really know the difference between the various Parkinsons. Okay. So it's overcoded. We need to make sure it's the right one. So you need to increase specificity rather than sensitivity. Sometimes you have to do both, get more sensitivity and more specificity. But that's the idea here. Instead of doing these core definitions, like in the cloud of your mind, you actually explicitly say, I do believe that I have to deal with the following problem. And,
Okay.
and then you have the disease pattern. Is it recurring or non-recurring? Diabetes is non-recurring, so you don't care about end date. Okay, myocardial infarctions is asthma attack is very recurring. It can recur within a week or within a day. You can have 2 asthma attacks in a day or in 2 days. Okay, so huge difference. In one, you don't care, so you don't put anything into the core definition. The other one, you do care. Severity. Okay. Do I need hospitalization? Because otherwise, I think it's just bullshit. Don't stop whining, patient. Right, and so on and so on. So these things are the metadata you want to get clarity upon before you start doing your exercises in order to come up with a perfect phenotype.
So these are metadata about the clinical idea being modeled in the cohort definition.
Correct. The clinical idea and your assumptions about the capture. And you have certain assumptions about the capture, because if it were perfect, you would be out of a job, Gowtham. But it isn't perfect.
Well, I just want to add one thing, Gowtham. I don't know if you want to separate out here between concept sets and all the logic we put into the cohort definition. That seems like almost like 2 separate things. Like a lot of the undercoding, overcoding, I could see applied to concept sets, but then there's all kinds of art that goes into the actual logic of the definition.
Yeah. So the unit of representation in the OHDSI Phenotype Library is a cohort definition. We are not representing concept sets at this time. So if there is a concept set, it should be part of the cohort definition as of right now. So I don't think we can separate out just because we just agreed the unit is cohort definition. But there is, I think there's 3 different ideas here. I mean, they're all related, but one is the idea of what is this clinical idea, like Christian said, asthma is an episodic disease, and diabetes is a chronic disease. Essentially, what that means is the end date criteria, because you are asserting upfront that this is an episodic
criteria and the index date and washout stuff. That's why you need it. You have to make sure that if you're looking at a record, that it's not still the same that you already picked up from the day before.
Right. So you're asserting justification for a certain design.
Yes.
In cohort logic. You're asserting that because I'm describing upfront that the disease pattern is recurring, I will model this as an event cohort That means a person can be in my cohort more than one time, and
Yep.
I have made a deliberate choice to define an end of the episode. So
Yep.
so that's essentially what it says. And if you say that your cohort is a clinical idea is recurring upfront by making this choice, you better, maybe we should build a validation for this. You better have a rule for a cohort end date. You can't just say cohort end date is end of observation time in the database, because that just doesn't make sense for a recurring disease.
So if the rules that follow that was actually in the table, you just deleted it. You can put it back in.
Okay.
There are these rules which, given those metadata, will tell you what you have to optimize: sensitivity, specificity, index date, or end date, or
Okay.
more than one, right? More than one.
Okay. Yeah, so we have 10 more minutes. I think this needs a little bit more thinking. There's a few things that we have to solve for. One is ensure that the terms used here are not ambiguous. Like now, I feel some of these terms are ambiguous, but again, that's a feeling of mine. And if we can take the feelings of several people, and if the majority of the people feel like it's unambiguous, then we can use it as is. But if there is ambiguity, then we need to think about words from thesaurus that makes better sense. That's one thing that comes to my mind. The second thing, like flavor, we talked about. We all agree flavor doesn't make sense. The other thing is let's all develop a clear understanding of it before putting it into a structure, like building a forum that asks for this. But if you're not clearly describing what it is, then it might become a problem. But I think I like the idea so far.
Yeah, we can improve the nomenclature. No question. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So we'll put those dimensions here. All right, Christian. So I'm going to assign you as the lead for this to get this done, and we need to get this pretty quickly so that Paul can we can give the design for Paul for considerations. And remember, we need to get this done pretty quickly also because of the how often.
And where do I get this done? In which artifact?
I mean, this is the work group, so you pull a meeting in the work group, just like you do anything, and we talk about.
I see. Got it.
So this is the scheduled meeting. You can always have an ad hoc meetings, right? And then we just talk through it and agree.
When is the next one? Because I'm
yeah, we meet every 2 weeks, every second and the fourth Friday of the month. So maybe if you're able to work with and propose a more structure next meeting, which is the fourth Friday.
The next meeting is the 28th, right?
Yeah. So
we are flying that day. So we gotta move that 28th. We either do it earlier or you skip it because we're on vacation and we're flying it on the 28th.
Yeah, okay. I'm on vacation too, and I'm not flying, but I'm on vacation too. I'm bathing in the Mediterranean Sea. So if that counts, there's an excuse.
We're gonna be close to you if you're in the Mediterranean Sea.
It's a Turkey.
Oh, we're gonna be very cool. We're gonna be in Lebanon.
Good.
Okay.
We can have like a local work group meeting. So yeah, let's then push it out for a couple of days until we can all meet again.
Okay, so just on my side, because I told Craig we need we're gonna update the community on that one. So we're not gonna be ready anytime soon to communicate the submission for how often till maybe sometime in September, you guys think?
You think August is not realistic?
No, I would like, but no, I'm just giving because it's the form and then the thing and the thing with Paul Nagy too, the tool itself.
We need the tool alive by September at least.
Got it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that, Gowtham. So also I need a state diagram for how the users, how you see the review process to work. And when would you like to have the tool delivered? Because we'll have the data partner journey is set to be put together in August, end of August. And so, but it'd be nice to get all the design requirements laid out in August so that we can begin putting it together in September.
So if you want a September deliverable, obviously October is the symposium. So we want this before symposium, 1 month before the symposium.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. That'll be a bit more. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Can I suggest something for the how often? I personally think the tool through the community dashboard is the right way to go, but I don't think there's no reason to rush it. If what's important to update for how often and before the symposium is really the information we're gathering, which is the Christian right component. The tool itself, I see this as very we don't need it to be through the tool before, and I'm just saying we don't need the tool to start saying, start submitting phenotypes for how often. Why we don't need to create that dependency. So why don't we keep working on the dashboard? Meanwhile, we can deploy the question or whatever the submission form in some other tool that works. Use that for how often, because we're also expecting to learn how good our submission form is going to be through how often, and then maybe we're going to update it a little bit or something and use that to go to the community dashboard to be our final way to submit phenotypes.
So I think I link to what you're talking about. So Paul and specifically to you, Aza and I were talking about using just the Microsoft Teams as a mock-up, or no, as an initial thing. Like in Microsoft Teams, you can just easily create forms with upload and stuff.
That's totally fine.
And we just do it as the initial thing and see, get 5 or 10 people to try it out. And Dash.Odyssey could build on top of that. It won't have the full workload, just a submission, right? You just
totally fine.
And put it like in a file system or something.
I'm all for proof of concepts.
Yeah, it's like a proof of concept. Yeah.
I do think my hunch is in the final version of it, we wanted to make it a little. I'd like in the ultimate version to make it more interactive and educational, so that as you fill it out, it's trying to help you understand what we're trying to get at in the questions. And with simple forms, sometimes you can't really do that well.
No. So in terms of your tool, like the version 1 of it, if you want to do sometime in September, you want the design this month or next month?
Whenever you have it.
Okay, so as soon as possible. All right. Okay.
Just, I know that we're close to the end of time here, but I just looked up howoften.org and it redirects to the Odyssey main page.
Yeah.
Any chance you can give a 1-sentence description of what howoften.org is supposed to be?
I can do it, Gowtham. If you do it.
Yeah, that needs to be in the explanation. We can't assume people all know by heart exactly how it works, and we need to. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. Now we can. That's an important thing to do, and maybe we can ask Craig to update that URL. Or is it owned by Columbia? I don't know who owns it.
Okay. Okay, and we can send. Yeah, I think they have to link to the slides. I think Patrick had a good slide about it when he presented the idea last month.
Great. So I think we covered the big chunk of the agenda topics. There was one about the DOI and stuff, which is secondary. I don't think that's important. But otherwise, I think we covered all the agenda. Any parting? Anybody else holding on to any things that they want to share to the work group before we close out? On time?
Never asked that question.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. I think we had a very focused and progressive conversation here. I think we have a plan. We have documented our decisions, and we are making progress on our OKR. So the submission process is something we are focused on, and I think hopefully we can bring value to the community and the science before the symposium. Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Great.
weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.